Hi, welcome to Brush Tips with Cheri. I'm super excited today to paint with you. We have an exciting painting for you today, and this is what we're going to be painting right here. So we're going to start with this background, and then we're going to work our way out. So I just want you to follow along. If you have your paint set up, then go ahead and get them poured. I'm going to share with you right here which ones I'm using. Now, I don't get all fancy when it comes to painting, so you don't have to either, because believe it or not, we want to make a mess. So we have our colors today, black and white, which is going to make gray. We also have violet, chrome orange, and bright yellow. The chrome and the yellow, the chrome orange and the bright yellow are going to be for the moon. The black is going to be for the trees and the ground. The black mixed with the white is going to be for the background color, and the purple with the gray, and then white for the stars. Are we ready to get started? Today I have a couple different size brushes here. We have a 1-inch brush, which I like to use because I like to use it for the overall surface. It helps to spread the paint more, and it also helps to get more paint onto the surface. We have a couple little smaller detail brushes, which are great to use for the stars, for some of the trees and parts of the moon. I also have a bigger brush just in case. So we'll call this guy just in case, okay? All right, so we're gonna start with this 1-inch. I like to keep paper towels by me. We always want to keep our brushes wet also, because when we do that, they work better for us, all right? We don't ever want paint to dry up on our brushes. It does ruin your brush. So let's get started. Let's not use white. How about that? We're going to use orange first because we want to start with the moon. Usually I start with white. That was a little thrown off there. All right, here we go. We're going to scoop up this orange right here, just like you're eating a big bowl of Lucky Charms. No, don't eat your paint. I'm just kidding. All right, so then we're going to start this. I don't want you to touch your canvas yet. I just want you to start doing a big circle. This I learned. This is a great little magic trick I learned in high school, is you just go in a circular motion, and once you start to feel that you're in a good circle, go ahead and touch your canvas, and you're going to get almost a perfect circle every single time, okay? Just round her out here. Keep going. You want your moon to be super, super big? Make it super big. If you want your moon to be smaller, make your moon a little bit smaller. You can also grab some of that yellow to brighten it up. This is like one of those nice big strawberry moons in the summertime. I know we're all looking forward to the season change. We've had a couple nice days here. All right, so we want a big, bright, beautiful moon. And just keep going over it. Spread that paint out. Don't be afraid. People get a little bit nervous when it comes to painting, and that's okay. But any mistake can be erased or taken away. All right, how does that look? That's a nice bright big moon, huh? We're going to clean that orange and yellow off of our brush, because when we mix it with the gray, it'll end up making it look a little muddy. So we do not want it to be muddy at all. All right, so the next thing that we're going to start with is the gray. This is where that white came in. And we're going to grab just a tiny little bit of black. Do you see it on my brush there? Just tiny little bit of black. And just add it to the side over here, mix it up. We want a little bit darker. And just add it till you get the color that you love. Okay? Now we do want these to dry, so that's why we're moving on to the background. We want this first layer of paint to dry. Once that dries, then we can add another little detailed layer. Now I went a little bit light with this, So I'm actually going to mix up a little bit of black in there, okay? Tiny little bit more black in there. All right, and just keep adding. Now, if you're gonna hang this and you don't want any frame on it, I do suggest that you paint the sides and the tops. Do you see my top right there? And this side is white. So we are actually going to paint that also, okay? That way when it's hanging up, it's not gonna be a little white, it'll be black or gray all the way around. And then just keep mixing your paint over here. Don't be afraid to get messy. Don't be afraid to mix the paint, all right? And lightly, very lightly go around your moon. When I go around my moon, I actually use my brush like this. I don't hold my brush like this. I actually hold it like this, and I hold it like a pencil. And then I real slowly go around like this. Real slowly, okay? And just take your time. You know, if you want to add a little bit more black in there, go ahead. Everyone sees art differently, and the more creative you are with how you paint, the more you're going to love it. So if you decide that you want to have red in your moon, or you want to have blue in your background, please, by all means, grab your favorite colors and start adding them in. This is your masterpiece. I love when people paint along with me. So if you are painting along with me, please shoot me a picture of it later on so that I could see it. I'm super excited about all the amazing artist friends out there watching. And we're just going to keep going. Just keep building up that gray, okay? We can even go a little bit darker too once we get over here, since we are going to be making this black. And just start filling it in. And you see I'm going in a big circular motion around. I'm actually not picking up my brush because I want it to be smooth. If you get brush marks in your painting like this, do you see my brush marks there? I don't know if you can really see them good. But if you do, just wet your brush a little bit, rinse it off, touch your paper towel, and just run over with a little bit of water, okay? You can always add water, you just can't take it away. We don't want drips, so we want to start with a little bit of water. When you start to get the hang of this painting, you'll be able to tell when you need to add more water and when you don't. So just be patient with yourself. So I'm going to go straight in and I'm going to grab some of this black and just start filling in a little bit of the bottom. It's okay if we have darker gray there. And again, there's no right or wrong way how to do this. It's however you see the art and however you want to paint it, okay? You can always contact me also, either on my Facebook page or my web page, and get more brush tips, get more painting tips. All right, so here's what I love to do. I actually love to hang my painting like this when I have to hit the bottom, because we want to be able to have the bottom done also. So I like to hang it on the back of my easel. If you aren't using an easel, but you're interested in getting one, there's a lot of great craft stores around to get them at. Also, there's a lot of great canvases out there too. Ones that are very cost efficient for what you're going to use them for. Lots of great products. And I just use basic acrylic paint. You can use some of those ones at the local craft stores if you'd like. Those ones are great to use. They're a little bit more runny, but if you invest in some really, really good paint, you will see the difference. But there's nothing wrong with using the paint from any of the local craft stores. So as you see, I've lost a little bit of my moon in here, and it's okay if you have two. We're gonna bring that back in here in a minute after this dries. So at home, you can sit there and just let it dry. Here, I actually get to do this magic trick, and I just fan it. Sometimes I use a blow dryer, but I don't want that to be loud here, so we aren't gonna use a blow dryer. We're just gonna fan this real quick. And we're gonna fill in this moon, another layer of the moon. It's pretty shiny. You can tell when it's wet because it's a little shiny. The only reason why we don't want to go over wet paint is because we don't want our colors to blend too much. All right, so now we're gonna bring out these little detail brushes, all right? And bring this guy out, that little one. And this is where I'm just gonna start making the textures in the moon, just real softly going over it. This is actually a painting that my daughter made. And then I actually was like, hey, this is a great painting to teach our friends. Can I use this? And she said, Mom, really? I said yes. So I took it from her. And she added a red frame around hers and made it absolutely beautiful. So definitely, if you're adding frames, try to think outside the box. Go with something super amazing that you probably wouldn't go with on a normal day to hang in your house. I think you'd be really surprised at the way that the colored frames just make the artwork pop. And here I am, I'm just slightly, real slightly touching it with the side of my brush. I'm not going in it like this. I'm just doing it real lightly with the side of my brush, okay? So I like it to be real light over here on this side and then kind of go a little bit darker. So I'm just switching back and forth between the orange and the yellow. I love this chrome orange color for the moon. It kind of reminds me of like that big summer moon that's strawberry moon. That's what it is, the strawberry moon. Sorry, I get so in tune with my painting that I just keep talking, and then I stop talking, and then I talk some more. All right. So I'm just adding a little detail around the edges here, okay? And inside the moon too. Again, we're gonna want this to dry. How's that looking? Good? How's yours looking? Amazing, I'm sure. I'm super excited to see some of the pictures. Just gonna keep adding here. So we didn't add the purple in yet, which we're gonna do next. So I'm just gonna clean off that little brush and I'm gonna bring in the big brush again. We're gonna let that moon dry a little bit. You hear that water swooshing around? I have a bad habit of being real loud with my water, so I apologize. All right, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of this purple, this violet color. If you like blue better, by all means, add some blue. And I'm just lightly dusting it, like I'm sweeping a floor, okay? If you have never swept a floor before, it's okay, you're not the only one. There's a lot of people who have never swept a floor before. I use that reference in my paintings a lot, and people are like, I've never used a broom. Like, all right. I sent the little kids out the other day to sweep all the leaves off the trampoline, and they left the broom out there, so. They do know how to sweep. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another little layer with this big brush of orange, just real lightly around the outside of my moon, just to bring back that fullness and make the moon look like it's on top of the sky, Not that the sky is swallowing the moon, right? We just want that moon to pop. That is one of the main focal points of it, okay? You see the purple in there? You could definitely add blue. You could add pinks. You can add yellows, whatever you desire, because again, this is your painting. All right, we don't need that guy. All right, so I'm going to show you this little magic trick with the stars. So this detail brush is great to use when you do the stars. What I want you to do is just dip the end right into your paint and then very gently touch your canvas. And if you think you're adding too many stars, stop adding stars and then take a step back and look at your canvas, okay? You can always add more later. You can't really take them away. Okay, and I'm not going to add any down where the trees are going to go yet because I'm going to let those sit and dry. So we're going to take this medium-sized brush that we just used inside, whoops, I grabbed the wrong brush, inside the moon, and we're going to use this to make the trees. We're going to come in with just straight black, and this is super easy. Just start down here and just start working your way up, or if you're more comfortable, please, by all means, start up here and work your way up. And I'm shaking. Do you see how I'm shaking my hand? Because I want my trees to look scattered. I don't want them to be full, just big black globs. So I'm shaking my hand real quickly, bouncing back and forth to give it that open-aired look. And I just keep filling in. And people make pine trees in all different ways. There's no right or wrong way. Sometimes people will make them like this. And that's okay, just to kind of brush them open like that and go all the way down. And that is okay to do that, okay? There's no right or wrong way how to make these trees. And then I just quickly go back and forth over here. And we can fill in down here too. Don't feel like you have to not fill these trees in down here, because we want this part down here also to look like the ground, but looks like the forest ground, okay? And I like to just throw a couple little stragglers along the side here. And just add however many trees you want. If you just want this amount of trees, that's okay. You can just have this amount. If you liked it without the trees, by all means, keep it without the trees. Sometimes when I'm making these trees, it also reminds me of like skipping a rock, because I want the brush to almost hit like it's hitting the water with a skipped rock, where I lightly skip the brush across my canvas. I'm super excited about everyone's paintings. How's this looking? Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome here. You can add a couple stragglers in the background there. Same thing goes here. Now along the bottom, If you want, you can grab that big brush again, and I'll show you. You can just take this big brush right here and grab some of this black and just real lightly brush it across the bottom just to give us that forest floor. Okay, doing it real soft. You can even leave a little clearing here, okay? Or if you just want a couple little bushes through here, we could do that too. Oh, this is a pretty basic painting. Real easy for beginners. So if you're just joining the painting community, welcome. If you are a seasoned painter, then enjoy painting this with us. I want to go into my moon a little bit here. Just add some depth to my painting. All right. So if there's anything that you need to fix on your painting, but you're not quite sure what to do with it, just let it sit for a little bit and then come back to it later. You can always come back in and add more paint. Here's a little trick that you can also do. We want to add, you can add a little white to your trees to make them look like they have a little bit of a glow. A little shadow happening. It just does add a little bit more depth to the tree. Now again, you don't have to do this at all. All right. It also just adds a little texture, makes it look more of like a tree, okay? So I want to add more stars. So I am actually going to turn that same brush over again and use the little brush butt. That's what we'll call it. Right there. Let's add a couple through here. Add one there. How about right there and right there? How's this looking? Pretty awesome. I love the purple in the background. It's probably one of my favorite parts of this painting. Purple is my favorite color. So I do like to add it a lot to paintings, which I wonder if my husband's like, why do we have so many purple paintings? Actually, he knows because I love purple. All right, so now that we're wrapping up the painting, if there's anything on the moon that you want to fix, then go ahead and do that. If you're happy with your painting, you can actually grab a Sharpie and you can sign the bottom, or you can grab that little tiny detail brush. And I just want you to own your painting. I want you to go ahead and just take that little tiny brush and just add your little initial at the bottom. And that just shows everyone that you are an amazing artist. So thank you very much for joining me today. Make sure that you follow along, and we look forward to teaching you our next painting. Thank you.